is presented by CK Media Productions.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy Dawson. Welcome to Can You Relate, a show all about relationships. You know, there are so many issues in relationships and so many kinds of relationships. There's in-laws, couples, friends, family, coworkers. I know you can relate to this. This show is here to help. So we have a lineup of all kinds of people who are going to help you with your relationship. Some of the things you can look forward to is we have an engaged couple coming on. After that, we have a chef that's going to talk to you about how to cook food for your family. Then we have some special segments coming up. We've got the Romance Review, which is where I review books and restaurants and all kinds of fun things. Then we have a Get a Life segment, which is about getting up and making memories with people you love. And one of my favorite segments is Ask Coach Kathy, where you get to write in your emails and I will answer them on the air. And of course, they're anonymous. So as you can see, we have lots to do. So let's get started. So, welcome. We have this wonderful couple who is engaged, and your names are Danielle and Nikolai. Welcome. It's very exciting. You're just starting your life. Now, I have to wonder, when you're planning things, what would you think about planning? I mean, it could be a million and one things. We have somebody here who's going to help you. Craig Lindell from Lindell Insurance is going to help you talk about what do you have to look forward to. Now, tell me, Craig, what does insurance have to do with planning a couple's future? Look at this young couple.
Well, first things first, when people get engaged, the first thing that happens is you save up all your money for a ring.
Okay.
And then nobody thinks to call me and think about what could happen if something happens to the ring, if it gets lost, stolen, or damaged.
Okay, you obviously have a ring, I'm sure.
Yes.
And by the way, I want you to know I lost my wedding ring. Okay, and I did not have insurance, so I've been there.
And wedding rings are commonly covered on a homeowner's policy or a renter's policy. They look at the value of the ring and then get some coverage just in case something happens.
It's really smart, yes. Now, okay, so that's the ring. Now they're planning the wedding. What's that got to do with insurance? I've never heard of this. And I did not think about insurance when I was planning a wedding. Are you thinking about this?
No.
No.
Not at all.
There's wedding insurance.
And so now that you're engaged and you're planning your wedding, you've probably read the statistics that the average wedding costs upwards of $27,000. So,
are you kidding?
Exactly.
That's the average, so I can't imagine how the far end is.
So there's a policy out there that will help cover the deposits, the dress, rescheduling for severe weather, or things like that.
Or if, you know, in this economy, if somebody goes out of business, like, you know, yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great idea. Okay, so that's the wedding. So now they're married. Are they supposed to be thinking about anything else?
Yes. Now that they're married, the relationship grows, and they are dependent upon each other. Okay. So they have auto insurance, they've got their home insurance or their renter's policy, and they might have had different limits, or they need to meet with somebody like me to go over what kind of limits they need now that they're a joint couple and they're relying on each other all the time.
Are you taking notes on this?
Up here.
Up here, okay.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to bring this up, but they're so young to think about life insurance. I mean,
well, it makes me sound like a salesperson, but it's never too early to talk about life insurance.
Really?
You know, when you're depending on somebody else for the first time financially, you know, whether it's the house payment or the car payment or whatever else, it's good to think about what kind of income is contributing to the lifestyle in case it needs to be replaced for some tragic reason.
Yeah, you know, I'm 53, and honestly, I just got a life insurance policy, and the premium is so big. So now's the time to
Yeah,
do
the earlier you get started, the cheaper it is.
Right. So if you know anybody who's engaged, you might be engaged, you might want to give Craig Lindell a call at Lindell Insurance. You can call him at 440-247-3750 or log on to lindellinsurance.com. We'll be right back.
Next, you know dinner together is important for keeping a family close, but who has time? We have a solution you may not have thought of. And later in the show, can you relate to your doctor? We'll tell you what makes this relationship work and when you should end it.
For those who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, finding the courage to change is the first step to lasting recovery. Discover life in recovery. Discover Glen Bay.
Glen Bay, nationally recognized drug and alcohol treatment for adults. Discover more at glenbay.com.
So, personal chefs, they're not just for celebrities, they're for everybody. We've got Jeremy Gutau here cooking some chili with the secret ingredient. So tell me about being a personal chef. I know you don't like to be called that, you like to be called the guy in the kitchen.
Quite frankly, I'm not that pretentious. You know, a lot of people, when they hear the term private chef, they do think of Oprah or Bill Gates, people like that. I'm a guy in the kitchen. I come on in, I just sort of help out.
Okay.
I help a family or I help older people, whoever needs help in the kitchen.
What kind of recipes do you make for people? Is it whatever they want, or do you come in with recipes? Or
most of my recipes are really catered to people who are either on weird diets, allergies. Everybody has allergies nowadays, or dietary restrictions of one type or another. A lot of people, I know that you are a vegetarian.
I am.
So a lot of people say, oh, I love lasagna, or I love spaghetti, or I love this, or that or the other thing. But I'm vegetarian.
Right.
So I personalize these regular casseroles or whatever to people's peculiar diets. Also, a lot of people are on weird medications nowadays too.
Now, if I were vegan, could you do that as well?
Actually, this recipe, I'm making chili today, and this recipe is vegetarian, but I could personalize it to vegan.
Okay.
I've had a lot of vegans over the years. It makes my life a little bit more interesting, but I love the challenge, so I'm fine with that.
Now, you have a secret ingredient in here. What is this?
Chocolate.
Ooh, in chili?
I add chocolate to chili. It actually adds just a little bit of subtle flavor in the background.
Okay.
And you can't really taste it. If you actually, I say if you can taste the chocolate, you've added too much.
I see.
But it just sort of adds a little bit of complexity.
See, this wouldn't even get in the chili with me. Okay, I'd be eating it before it even gets in there. But I can't wait to taste it. That's great.
It's very, very good. It really is. I also add some other unusual ingredients, but people do seem to like it very, very much.
Now, what if I want to hire you? Am I hiring you for like a long-term thing, or just a night, or how does that work?
I've had clients who have hired me for one occasion, like to go in and help a family out right after a funeral. Okay. Also for a romantic dinner, for birthday parties, whatever. That gets into catering, and I'm not really a caterer as such, but I will do some without that sort of thing. Most of my clients are a year and a half.
That long, really?
I had one household that hired me. There was some cancer in the house, and they hired me to come on in and help out during the surgery and then during the recuperation.
But what a wonderful service you're providing for people.
And I felt very, very happy and satisfied to be able to provide that service. I really do.
Now, where do you go? I mean, what is the area you serve in Cleveland?
Well, I live in Cleveland Heights, and so I try to stay primarily in the Heights area, Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, South Cleveland. But there are actually a lot of private chefs around town. And so if somebody's in Bainbridge or whatever, I'm sure that they could put the word out and they could find private chefs who are in that area or the west side, so on and so forth.
I can smell the chocolate. Do I get to taste this?
Yes, I actually have some that's all finished.
Oh,
in fact, let me get some out right now.
Okay. Now, do you use dark chocolate or milk chocolate? Does it matter?
It does, because milk chocolate is a little bit too sweet for my taste.
Oh, okay.
But if somebody really, really likes that much sweetness, they can certainly add. Yes. However, if you add milk chocolate, you cannot take it vegan.
Oh.
Just be aware of that.
Oh, okay.
So let's just shift this a little.
It smells like we're making cookies instead of chili. That's really amazing how much chocolate's in there.
Hopefully it's not that sweet. Hopefully it's not that sweet.
No, I mean, I bet it tastes great.
Here you go, try that.
Okay,
try that
so now I'm going to blow on this because it's going to be really hot.
It's very, very hot. This is a wonderful stove. Reed Powerful.
That's really good.
Is it too hot for you? I mean, is it too spicy or is it okay?
No, I like it. But seriously, I can taste the chocolate in this. You would think that little chocolate and all that whole thing.
I did not add much, but it just adds a little complexity in the background.
Wow.
There's also, believe it or not, just a little bit of concentrated orange juice in this to add a little citrus flavor in the background. And so, you know, any food really can be personalized to any diet.
That's great. Well, you know what? If you need help with your family, and you have a situation where you just don't have time to cook, or like me, you don't really like to cook, you might want to call Jeremy, and you can log on to his email, jeremygutau@yahoo.com, or call you, right, at 932-0847.
That's 216.
216. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Kathy. I really enjoyed this.
We'll be right back.
Real communication includes talking and listening. So what kind of listener are you? Are you a silent nodder who is actually not paying attention? Do you interrupt mid-sentence? Are you a solution and advice giver? Do you answer, yes, but? Or maybe you're a multitask listener. Do you actually think you can watch TV, read the newspaper, or check emails and listen at the same time? We don't think so.
If you answered yes to any of these questions, frankly, it's like you have a neon sign on your head that's flashing, I'm not listening. Do you know that listening is the most important relationship skill you will ever learn, and that 90% of the people out there, they don't really want solutions or advice, they just want you to hear them. There are basically 3 rules to listening. Number 1, if your jaw is moving, you can't be listening. It's not possible. Number 2, if you want to listen with your mind rather than your mouth. So in other words, if you have an agenda going on, set it aside. Number 3, listen with your heart and pay attention to the cues, the nonverbal cues that other people are giving you. So if you would like your mate to take this test, to take this survey, they can go online at canyourelatetv.com. And if you want to know about my other thoughts about listening, you can learn about them there. So we will be right back.
Up next, how to communicate in one of your most intimate relationships, you and your doctor. And later, you got the kids back in school, so why not get back to being a couple? We'll share great getaways that won't break your budget